guys, so big news here. We've decided to sell everything in our life. We're trading in both of our vehicles into one truck, selling the house and buying a trailer. It's already been purchased. And I'm Brian.
I'm Chanel.
And we're starting a travel vlog called Growing Rootless. And the idea is exactly that. We're going to be growing as a family with no, traditional house over our head and things like that. We're going to have the trailer and try a whole new way of life from scratch. I've personally only done trailer camping, and she's never done trailer camping, but a lot of tent camping. But we never had a trailer before as a family, and we've never done any of this before as a family or as individuals. So this is basically our introduction to you guys and who we are. I was a decade-long server, bartender, and worked in the restaurant industry for so long. Became a real estate agent here in northern Colorado, and been doing that for the past 2 years. Decided at a certain point that I was going to try to take that remote.
Now, a lot of the questions we get, number one is typically, why are you doing this? And what made you decide to make this decision?
That's a good question.
And we've sat here and thought about it, and we don't know exactly how or when we decided this.
We couldn't think of the exact moment when we were like, we should buy a trailer and do all this. It's been such like a whirlwind of things going on. There's a few things that we can kind of remember that were small things that happened along the way that started increasing the
discussion,
the odds of it happening. We live in a fairly large house right now. I just put in this brand new bar you see behind us, and really everything that I've ever wanted. After we took a trip to Kremling, which is a place here in Colorado, we went whitewater rafting, and we were both just sitting in that raft and realizing that after building all this, all the landscaping hours, the painting, and everything else that went along with the house, we didn't receive as much value out of those material possessions as we did as those few 2.5 hours on that river.
Yeah, I think that's really when we started talking about the idea of it and that it is possible. Before, it was just something we always joked about. Like anytime we were stressed, it was like, oh, let's just sell everything and go move into an RV.
Yeah, which I feel like a lot of people have the same conversations daily with their significant others. Is like, I'm so over this. And filming this in late August 2020, and pretty weird things going on in the world right now. Everyone's dealing with the whole COVID-19 pandemic, and it's put a stress on everyone. Us as parents being full-time teachers, full-time babysitters, spouses, house cleaners, everything that goes along with that. And luckily, wrapped into that whole COVID-19 pandemic issue is remote jobs became much more available. And with us cutting our expenses by how much we did, our remote jobs aren't necessarily paying as much, but it's something we enjoy doing. We love doing those jobs that we have, and the idea of what we're getting ourselves into just seems like such a much more enjoyable and valuable time than what we are doing here.
Behind why we decided to RV full time.
I need to get another drink. Hold on. Cheers. What was the next?
Our whys.
Alright, so I think the first word that comes out of people's mouth when we tell people this plan, and unfortunately you guys are late to the party to hear about all this, but our friends and family that we told first, the very first question was why? Why uproot your family, uproot your kids, uproot your jobs and everything you're doing, and go take on this big project?
Really, I think our mindset was, why not? We saw the opportunity. It's something we've always joked about. We're constantly talking about what state are we going to move to next. We love to travel, and it all just kind of made sense. We wanted more time together. I am in a salary position where I work more than 40 hours a week. I want to be able to spend more time with my kids, and now that I'm partially their teacher, it's a little more necessary. Yeah, I think we saw ourselves matching our life to our income, and therefore it never made life easier. We always felt like we were still in the stressful stage of life where we were still getting our lives together.
Yeah.
So no matter how hard we worked, no matter how many promotions we got or how much money we made, we managed to just keep buying more and leveraging ourselves more. And the stresses never ended. And at the end of the day, that's not what made us happy. What made us happy was spending time together and traveling and seeing new places and experiencing new things. And we weren't getting that working tons of hours just to pay for more and more things.
We both saw what the future held. Given our current, path, all it was more square footage, more walls to paint, more grass to cut,
more floors to mop.
Exactly. The list goes on. More windows, all that stuff. And we realized that it was just an infinite loop of something that we didn't want to continue down, at least for now. We like a lot of people, we approach the American dream like we should, and we bought the house. It doesn't have a white picket fence, but everything else that goes along with it, the 2 dogs, the 2 kids, and we love everything about the actual living, breathing creatures in our house, but we wanted to try to get more involved with living, breathing things as opposed to a bunch of walls and new decor and things like that, keeping up with the Joneses. And if you have the ability to get out of that, then talk is cheap.
And I guess time frame. Everyone asks us how long do you plan on doing this for? And I think we're really kind of just playing it by ear. Our time frame is about 9 months before we decide to reevaluate our situation and decide whether we're going to sell the majority of the things that we put into storage or not.
Sorry. The angle might be a little bit different because we changed batteries. Like I was saying before, that battery rudely died on me. A lot of people also ask, what's the plan? Where are you going to go?
I mean, I don't think we have a true plan yet. We have an idea, a blueprint for what we want to do. We've never done this before, and we don't quite know what we're getting ourselves into, to be quite honest. But we know we're resilient, and we know that we're up for the challenge. And with that, we know that things are going to change daily, and we're not going to get our expectations set on anything, especially in those first couple months. But really, the plan is to first go to Arizona. We'll go down through New Mexico. That way we're not going over the Great Divide in the beginning of November, because there can be lots of snow depending on the weather. It is Colorado, so it changes daily.
Could be on fire or it could be snowing, I'm not sure.
Yeah, who knows? We'll take our time going through New Mexico. We'll end up in Arizona where Brian's mom lives, and we'll be kind of camping out near her.
Yeah, it's on the north side of Lake Havasu. It's a place called Craggy Wash.
As long as that goes well, really the plan is to just follow the weather, follow the sun.
We're going to California for the holidays.
Oh, yes. For Christmas, we'll definitely be in Southern California with our family. And then after that, we are kind of thinking Texas.
We want to follow the sun.
I guess a lot of people also ask, what do the kids think of all of this? We're not quite sure they completely understand what's about to happen.
Yeah.
In the moment, they are so excited. Kobe, our 6-year-old, almost 7, asks us every day if we're selling the house. So they're excited, but they definitely don't know what exactly is about to happen.
And on that, I think that it's the same level of I've never seen or never done this before, of like going to school with a mask on or like going to online school. And I guess that's kind of another thing that's made it easier for us. Our oldest, Kobe, is a 6-year-old. Michaela's our youngest daughter.
She's 3.
She's 3. You know, we just really think, like, is it going to be stranger for them to go into school with all this, you know, personal protective gear and sanitation measures and all this other stuff, or more or less go to an older way of schooling and being hands-on with things? And their friend groups were more complex, and they had, you know, a dozen friends and different schools, and they all went to, you know, the mall together and all that stuff. Then we would feel a little bit more guilty, I guess. But at this time, they don't have really any traditional friends. You know, Josh has 2 boys max, and know that they're good friends with. But other than that, I feel better about that. And we're all just so young. If worse comes to worse, we come back, we reassess, and you know, we've put in measures to make sure that when we come back, our family will be comfortable. We'll be able to just reassemble into life. But as of right now, if we're young and everything can be done from the road and we can make it work, then why not?
Yeah. COVID aside, I think my biggest thing with the kids is, what's better than learning about geography or history or science than doing it hands-on or seeing it hands-on? Like, reading it in a textbook is nothing compared to walking in a forest and exploring and picking up different leaves and learning about plants and the water cycle, where you get to actually see it in real life. I think, like, really when we think about the schooling experience, I've always talked about how when I went to school they didn't have auto shop, and I wish they had more of those hands-on classes and like auto shop or woodworking or something like that, that was a little more life skill building.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is they just don't these days.
Yeah, I want my kids to go noodling. You know what noodling is?
No.
Remember that video where the girl caught the catfish with her arm and she like stuck it under the water and all that?
Oh.
That's noodling, by the way.
Yeah, I can't even noodle, so I don't expect that.
But imagine you're teaching biology or whatever, and you're able to become that close with nature. It'll have profound effects. We hope. That's the plan. That was our big announcement. But in that, we've decided that kind of one of the fundamental principles of this whole idea, one of the building blocks of this, is that we want to document everything. We're going to be creating as many channels as we can. So the TikTok, the YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. What are the names on all those platforms?
Growing Rootless.
So Growing Rootless, and basically just follow along and judge our lifestyle and leave mean comments down below.
Don't leave mean comments. Be a good human.
Yeah, be a good human. Yeah, do that for sure.
Be a good human.
So, yeah, that was basically it. Please, if you find it enjoyable to watch, obviously we would love for you to share it with your friends and your family, and hopefully they get something out of it, and we would love to just entertain and hopefully inspire other people to do it with us, and hopefully we meet you in a campground and we can look back and be like, man, what a good choice. High five sort of thing.
Yeah. So, if you have any questions, just comment below or DM us, whichever you choose. And welcome to our journey of growing rootless.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you again, and we will see you in the next episode of Growing Rootless.